The Welsh Government has been accused by the farming unions of betraying rural Wales after it decided to shelve plans to cull badgers in an attempt to control bovine TB. Instead, there will be a 5-year vaccination programme. The idea of a cull was first raised in 2008 by the then Labour-Plaid coalition government. It went to court and anti-cull campaigners were successful in their legal challenge. Well, Aled Rees is an organic dairy farmer. He has 2 farms in the North Pembrokeshire area that would have been subject to the cull and has been under TB restrictions since 2002. He told this programme that farmers are not opposed to a vaccination programme, but that it isn't enough on its own.
Out here at the coalface, living with this disease daily like we have for 10 years, we know it's not going to be enough. And, when we're losing cattle hand over fist every 2 months, it's very little hope. Vaccination as part of a wider package would be the answer. He should be going ahead, showing strong leadership with a cull in that area, and then bringing in vaccination once we've taken out the disease badgers. If he did that, we would have confidence that this would work, because the end goal of all this is to eradicate TB. It's not to kill thousands of badgers. We as farmers want to control the badgers and control this disease and eradicate it, and that should be the goal.
Well, let's speak now to the Queen guitarist and anti-cull campaigner Brian May. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
You were closely involved in the original legal challenge which stopped the planned cull. Presumably you welcome the announcement made by the Minister yesterday.
I do welcome it. We all do who are concerned in animal welfare issues. Certainly congratulate John Griffiths, who I think has made a very courageous decision here in the face of extreme pressure from the extreme end of the farmers' unions. Of course, there are many farmers who do take the attitude that vaccination is the answer. And we strongly feel that John Griffiths has done the right thing for farmers as well as for wild animals.
You say extreme. Do you want to reconsider that phrase? I mean, if you have farmers going through the distress of losing cattle on a regular basis to TB, surely it isn't extreme to want effective action to deal with that, is it?
No, not at all. But the effective action is the vaccination. I'm actually thrilled that these people are actually paying attention to the real science, because science has been kind of perverted. People tend to use science a little bit glibly these days and perhaps not understand the difference between scientific evidence and scientific theory. This whole business of culling is a theory, and the evidence all points to the fact that vaccination is the only way long-term to control the disease. Everybody takes the disease seriously. Everybody takes the farmers' problems seriously. But we absolutely believe that vaccination is the answer.
Yes.
There's no question that culling will help, in fact. I mean, all the available scientific evidence clearly points to the fact that bovine TB cannot be controlled by culling.
Forgive me for interrupting, but can I just challenge you on the point you make about the supportive science? In terms of actual empirical evidence, we were speaking earlier to Dr. Eamon Gormley of University College Dublin, who's running the Irish Badger Vaccination Development Programme, and he said that a vaccination on the scale that is being planned now by the Welsh Government has never actually been done anywhere in the world. It is not certain that it will work.
Well, it's not certain that anything will work if you actually tell the truth. That there is no place where, with or without a badger cull or wildlife cull, this disease has been eradicated. Eradication is actually a false hope. I think the best thing we can do is control it and gradually reduce it over a number of years. It's a very sort of attractive, instinctive option, I think, for some farmers to sort of see badgers out there and think, oh, they're disease, we have to kill them. But of course, badgers are the innocent parties in this. The disease was introduced by farming and has infected the wildlife population, and now it's in both populations. But 11,000 badgers died in the RBCT, which was the only proper scientific trial that's been done, and their conclusion was badger culling cannot meaningfully contribute to the control of bovine TB in cattle. That's very unequivocal.
The trouble is that we are looking, with a vaccination programme here, at a very long-term plan.
Indeed.
And that is going to mean that farmers, particularly in bovine TB hotspots, are going to have to continue taking the knocks that they're taking at the moment for some considerable time, aren't they? Because you have to wait for the diseased badgers to die out, while at the same time hoping that you've caught and vaccinated enough non-diseased badgers to develop herd immunity eventually.
This is true, but it's a very long-term consideration no matter what you do, and there's very considerable fears that if you cull badgers, there's a thing called perturbation, which is basically you disturb the family groups, and the badgers who escape spread the disease to neighbouring farms.
Yeah, but forgive me,
that culling can make things worse.
Forgive me though. Is perturbation not also a danger with this vaccination plan? Because the vaccine is going to be applied through an injection, which means trapping badgers, which presumably means that perturbation will continue to be a danger even under the vaccination programme, doesn't it?
Absolutely not. All the evidence points to the fact that vaccination can be done without disturbing the family groups. They go back to their families, basically, once they've been vaccinated. It's a lot less perturbing, if you like, than shooting the animals and them running away, possibly diseased, possibly not. Of course, culling would be killing thousands of not only innocent but largely healthy badgers. And thank God that the Welsh have got a reprieve. The Welsh badgers have got a reprieve.
Well, I'm grateful to you for taking the time to talk to us this morning. Thank you. That was Brian May. Thank you. That was Brian May, the anti-cull campaigner, who also happens to be the Queen guitarist.